Good afternoon and welcome back once more to the Dumfries in the south of Scotland for the World Mixed Double Curling Championships 2014. We are in the Ice Bowl in Dumfries, and today I am joined by Logan Gray. I am Sarah Carlson. We are gonna give you the game between USA and China. This is Group D. We have 4 groups in the mixed doubles. There are a total of 34 teams entering this year. USA on 1 and 2, China on 2 and 1. Maybe a possible playoff. France and Norway still undefeated, trailing by China and Spain. Ireland on 1 and 2. And the bottom half of this group with 8 teams, it's USA also on 1 and 2, Germany and New Zealand still looking for that first win. Lineup for USA is Joyens Mikai and Steve Gebauer. They are coached by Maymar Gemmel. And the lineup for China is Liu Xia and Gu Wenli. This is the rules of mixed doubles. You have 2 players on each team, 1 male, 1 female. You have 6 stones rather than 8, but you play only 5 because 1 for each team is pre-placed. There's 46 minutes of playing time and 8 ends, a minimum of 6. And the players play either the stones 1 and 5 or 2, 3 and 4, but they can switch positions in between the ends, so that changes. Both players are allowed to sweep, even though the skipper needs to be behind the hog line when the stone is being thrown. And maybe the most important rule to remember is that no takeouts can be played until the 4th stone of each end, not even your own stones, even if they're in the rings. So it makes for quite an aggressive game. And again, I'm Sarah Carlson, and I'm happy to have you by my side once again, Logan Gray.
Thanks, Sarah. It's been too long.
Way too long.
So the players are just making their final preparations here, and USA will be playing the red stones against the yellows of the Chinese. And the 2 teams did draw for the last stone in their pre-game practice, and USA will have the last stone in the first end.
They will. It's nice when China plays the yellows and USA playing the red, otherwise I get confused with the color of their shirts.
Well, unfortunately, they won't be playing Yellowstones all week long, so we might have to work on that.
This just means I need to focus more on those games.
Oh, we're ready to get the game underway here. Go Wenli.
Playing the first freeze. Of course, they have a center guard. USA has a stone just back of the button, so this is always the first call of every end. Just come around and play a draw. Rex on the guard a little bit, doesn't move it too much. We'll leave the yellow stone open in the 12 foot.
That's Steve Gebauer down there holding the brush for Joyens Michai. Of course, the teams do need to have a player in the playing area while the stone's being delivered. Interesting to see what option the teams go for who's going to sweep. Don't think you see too many teams doing this with having 2 sweepers out there. No,
it's quite common that someone will come up and sweep maybe for just the last bit, but Steve's up quite early. Sometimes we do even see teams when there's just the first draw and they know the line quite well, the skipper's just up by the hog line so that they can run down and sweep quite quickly.
Well, both teams with a stone in a useful position at the front of the rings. That Chinese stone lying in second shot position at the moment, but it looks like they're going to play a tap up on that stone, and should they do so, then the stone at the front of the rings is going to be out counted by the red on the other side of the centre line. And this is the last stone of the end, which can be played as a takeout shot.
This looks like it's going to be absolutely perfect.
Yeah, terrific tap there by Xia Liu. Gives China the upper hand here in this first end.
Yeah, and remember, when you don't have any sweepers, it's just so much harder to play those finesse shots.
Yeah, absolutely. The sweeping gives the thrower so much more margin when it comes to playing the shots. With only one sweeper out there, and they're probably only sweeping probably half of the journey of the stone. There's only so much impact you can have. This is Steve Gebauer.
Yeah, and still it's so important to finish your delivery. We also see a couple of players being in a hurry to get up and sweep, and they actually end up with a sloppy delivery, and that's definitely not going to help you. So following down with the tap here, won't get it quite as far, but now 3 reds in the rings.
Well, the USA just starting to surround that yellow stone on the button at the moment. And China can start to play some takeouts here. This is the first stone of the end that they can make a takeout.
And I do like that they're electing to hit the red. I think a lot of players get stuck in the thinking of mixed doubles and forget that they can throw hits, so they just keep drawing and freezing and tapping. But from now on, it's just a regular end of curling, so just limit the risk with leaving too many reds around. Can't hit this too much on the high side though.
Eek.
And you will also get rid of the backing. I'm not sure that really mattered. The backing might actually have been helping them, but
yeah, I don't think it does matter too much, because that red stone in the centre line in the house is pretty well hidden by the centre guard. So it may just make it a little bit easier for them to remove the short stone later on.
Yeah. What kind of weight?
But not too much time to recover the situation for the Chinese at the moment.
so I wonder if USA is playing something similar now, but with less weight. Try and push the yellow one straight back.
I think that would be a reasonable assessment, Sarah. So Steve Gebauer from Mendota Heights in Minnesota. Started curling in 1996, so plenty of experience.
It's an interesting team. They live really far apart. One in Minnesota, one in New York. So they don't get to practice much, but he makes a nice one there. Leaves the yellow one still sitting shot, but pushes it off the button. So it's now just edge of forfeit.
Opens up the scoring zone for a bit.
So they were talking about freezing the top red, but the other red could still be run down, and then USA would still be sitting too. And I think they changed the call to just a guard.
Yeah, certainly. I don't think they can leave the option to come in and freeze that yellow or play some sort of a tap back. That's USA's probably their easiest shot and the one of the most reward as well. So they really need to take that shot away at the moment. And they're going to do so by either throwing a kind of tight guard here or even just coming around that red stone out front of the rings.
Yeah, leaving USA a shot for one is definitely a very good option. We see a lot of big scores in mixed doubles. It's not uncommon for teams to trade 3s and 4, so if you can limit your opponent to scoring only 1, then that's normally a great result. But she won't get past the hog line with that. So now that tap or freeze will be available for USA.
Tell you a little more.
Yeah, a bit of a disaster there.
Yeah, that's when you want your sweepers around.
So Sarah, you've been doing this a little bit longer than I have in the mixed doubles game. What do you call the two different positions?
You could call them the burger and the bun position.
Okay, that works. Okay, so here's Steve playing the burger position.
Exactly. But it's just 1 and 5 or 2, 3 and 4, so
Just hack.
I think the burger and the bun is a bit more creative.
Yeah, and catchier as well, I think.
Yeah. Hard. Wait there, wait there.
So trying to remove the yellow one here gets really tight to the front red, and that's a great shot.
Yeah, really nice shot there by Steve Gebauer, and China in a bit of trouble here with just 1 stone to come. Could be an option to try and make a freeze in there, but looks like they're going to try and make a takeout. Fraught with danger, this shot.
Yeah, Steve was so close to that guard, but remember it is a red guard, so China can't really afford to come as close, because if they ever just push that in, they're going to risk losing a 4 in the first end. Don't think he's too close. Rolls out and will leave Joyens Michai draw for 2.
What side do you like?
We're doing her.
I think it's going to be interesting to learn if the kind of effect with the sweepers makes a huge amount of difference to the shots that are nominated. It might well be easier in some situations to play a takeout than play what looks like a straightforward draw, just because you don't have the 2 sweepers who can carry it that extra 12 feet.
Yeah, it's definitely a difference. We're seeing maybe 10-15% different in the scoring in the mixed doubles.
Higher?
Lower,
Lower.
because they don't have the sweepers.
So they can't get the stones in the house.
Exactly. Well, a lot of the time they can.
So here's Joyens Michai with the top half of the bun.
Yep, not done enough to score 2, but they will still get the 1. Off to a small but early lead in this game.
Yeah, and after one end, it's going to be USA 1, China 0.
Yep, and in the game between Germany and New Zealand, Germany picked up a 3 in the first end. Norway scored 2 against Ireland. Japan scored 1 against the Netherlands. And we also have a game between France and Spain, where France got 1 in the first end.
Oh, a bit of a let off there for the Chinese. It looked like that could have been 2 or maybe even 3 at certain points in that end.
Yes, they were really getting punished by Liu missing the hog line. But got away. So Joyens now have a chance to redeem herself after the previous draw and come down with a good one. And I can tell you that's certainly what you don't want to do when you don't have hammer in mixed doubles. Wrecking on the guard is probably the least favourable result, because it allows the team with hammer to get 2 stones in straight away.
Yeah, there actually isn't very much margin at all with that first stone at the end as to where you can get a good result. You really have to make a perfect shot, or you certainly need to keep it in front of the tee line.
Yeah, anything back of the tee line or on the guard and it's trouble all day. Now they got a bit lucky because Gu didn't manage to find the rings with that one.
Yeah, both teams just struggling at the moment to figure out the speed of the ice.
This is when it's harder too, when you're alone in the hat, because normally you also have 3 people giving you feedback. Now it's just you and your skip, and it's harder to adjust.
There's less brains out there.
I know. Well, maybe that's just me needing a couple more brains when I play, but
Wait's there.
cannot afford to be heavy with this one. Needs a good freeze.
Yeah, and looks like the Americans have switched up their position here as well. So here's Steve Gebauer playing the first and the last stone of the second end for the Americans.
Well,
and
that was the second stone for them, because she had already played one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. Just scrap all of my previous comments.
Just to show you how difficult it is to remember how many stones are being played in mixed doubles. We have seen a couple of teams actually not sure about how many stones they've been throwing, so they've had to count them up a couple of times. I think they're going to promote the yellow one into the rings. It's a long tap, it's not a very easy shot.
Yeah, we see there with C. Elliot with a beautiful technique. See that a lot with the Asian players putting in so much time in the rink, and technically they really are superb, but that's a little bit of a bizarre call for me. I would think I would have liked to see them just play an out-turn draw there. Far easier shot for the same kind of reward.
Yeah, this is really well played. I mean, it's such a long tap back, and still the result is not giving them anything.
I think it's still a little less.
Well, again, you see the Americans are choosing a really difficult shot here. Steve Gebauer trying to navigate through a very narrow port on the in turn.
Yeah, need to get through it too, because they don't really want to open up the center line for China.
Yeah, I think we're going to see this week that the teams who do well this week, they're going to be the ones that play the simple shots. So if you go after some difficult shots like this, you don't have the sweepers to give you that extra margin, you're going to make a lot of misses and you're going to create a lot of opportunities for your opposition.
Well, errors on the right side.
Yeah, let's just go straight back. I don't know if they're there or not.
It's my broom, like I pick it up.
Oh. Hey, take a few teeth out. It's almost like hockey, you know. That's a pretty straight line.
Yeah, no, it's
I
not.
brought you in what? Still 3-4 inches?
I mean, I was just really afraid of that yellow.
Yeah.
Cards.
What are they hoping to achieve here? Just to double on the guards?
Yeah, I guess so. They're just trying to open things up and force a way in there so that they can score here with the last stone. So I think one of the big keys is after, as soon as the takeouts can be played in the end, is that you try to make the game as much like a normal game of curling as you would. You kind of call the shots that you would play. So I think that was a good call there from the Chinese, even if it wasn't overly well executed. Oh, actually,
No, they
worked out not too badly, but even still, there's quite a couple of red stones on the center line there, and quite a nice big pocket for the Americans to put one in if they're so pleased.
Yeah, of course, it's nice that they're having a lot of yellows around, but they're not really going to make the red ones go. So it's going to be hard to make them count.
Yeah, and they've actually created a big nest there for the double takeout. So if you were to play it kind of on its natural angle, hitting the red at the top of the 8 foot on the nose, then the red stone's going to go right into that big pile of yellows. So not a terrific result, though. Although, as you say, Sarah, more yellows closer to the middle.
A little tight. Stay close. Yep.
Line.
Okay. Whoa. How's the weight?
Wait's there.
Stay close for line. Oh yeah, weight's totally there.
So it does come into the pocket, but actually with quite a lot of weight, so moves things around a bit. Might be a chance for China to make a move on the reds now.
That was narrow.
So what can they do here?
Well, they could make some sort of a play off their own yellow next to the brush there to get into a shot position, or they can move the stone at the top of the rings, at the top of the 4 foot to open up the stones on the button. It certainly looks like that's what we're going to try and do. Maybe they can make some sort of a double takeout and leave a red stone on the button. Looking pretty lonely, just next to the top one. So China lying in 3rd, 4th and 5th position at the moment, but running out of time to move both of those stones on the button.
Looked like you had plenty. Looked like you had plenty. Looked like you had plenty. Wait till the end.
Oh, yeah, it's got you.
Well, the problem with both of the players sweeping the stone is that you don't really have any idea of where the stone is for line, although you have a really good idea of what it is for weight. So a little bit pacey there from Joyance, and a chance for the Chinese to make a double takeout.
It's hot.
Let's get a quick line.
Yeah. 站得 fast.
不是，咱俩严严的。你打一个靠过来得1分得了，行吗？
Is there a shot for 2 here?
2分呢？你打他不往这边走吗？
I think absolutely there's a
打他不往这
there's a
边走。
double takeout there, and you know what? Maybe it might even ricochet back, and you might get the third one. I don't think it'll quite bounce back far enough to get the third one, but
动哪？
definitely a chance here to score 2. And they'll need to hit that stone just behind Leo's brush if they want to give themselves any chance. They can't make it going the other way without disturbing other stones. Oh, good look from the other end. Yeah, just trying to hit that stone beside the brush there and then go on to the one on the button.
Yeah, final stone of the second end. And a chance to score 2. And, well, he's not done enough for the deuce, but good enough to get the 1. So it's a tied game after 2 ends.
一送就上去了，就直了。
Yeah, really nice attempt there by Guo, but only enough to even the scores, and after 2 ends it's USA 1, China 1.
没事儿，加油。OK。
So players are putting the stones in position. Just makes it run a bit faster than the umpires having to do both the numbers and the stones, and then the players just agree.
If you're okay, we can set them. We can.
So Stephen Windley just
Good.
getting along here.
Yeah, and there will be just a little mark out there that just dictates exactly where the stone should be, so they can be setting the ends up exactly the same way every single time. It looks like,
收一点。
so the stones are in a pretty good line there.
%66% so far for Xia Liu.
直打不行。
It's quite acceptable. We see the top mixed doubles players reaching maybe 70s or 80s. Oh, but this one's looking way heavy. She's got enough line to push the red one back a bit, but creates quite a pocket behind the tee line. It's a difficult shot to play, that first perfect freeze. When you make it, you get so much pressure on your opponent, but there's so many ways that you can just help the team with last stone out. So 61% for Joy and Smikai.
Line's good.
Wait close, top house.
Yep, stay close, stay close.
She doesn't need to come all the way down to these.
Set.
Just actually sitting a bit in front of the tee line is probably
Take a
what
step.
they would prefer. But this one's quite heavy too. Pushes the yellow one back to sit for 2, but it's still behind tee, so China can keep freezing.
让一点儿。
行，白边儿就行。
OK。
要
这边站嘛。这么来啊？
And 71% for Gu Wenli.
路线 OK 啊，我开始啊，开始啊。
Excellent pronunciation, Sarah.
Thank you.
It looks like he's passed the guard nicely here and might even just be able to move this red back.
Yeah, still, both teams quite heavy on their draws coming this way. There's still a nice pocket.
Less. Shred the edge.
Steve Gebauer doing a little bit of directing from the hack end. Going to play the out turn draw here.
That's 71% for him as well. And he wants this, I think, top of the button.
Waits there. Waits there.
Yep. Yep.
Just to make China play something a bit more difficult than
Okay, wait
a
on
freeze
the
with
goal.
backing. This
On the
one's
Waits all there.
Yep.
running quite fast as well.
I think the Chinese will be licking their chops right now and seeing a great opportunity here. Those two red stones sitting side by side. Although China are allowing 2 shots against right now, it's a really nice opportunity for them to come and throw one down onto the tee line and put it in that pocket to make it extremely difficult to remove.
So really a key shot for China here. Lock this on and they will prevent both of the reds from ever being scoring points for USA. Not exactly locked on, but in a nice place.
刚才那么大劲儿，还磕到那儿了呢。啊，这也行，可以。不是啊，我就说这个怎么？
Well, not that easy a position now for the US, facing one on the button and a lot of backing for them to clear to get that yellow stone out. I think this is one of the really interesting things about mixed doubles as well, Sarah, is that when you actually get a stone in a good position, then the opposition don't have a lot of time to do anything about it. Like in a normal game of curling, you'll get a good one in there with, say, your lead second stone, the second stone at the end, and there's still 6 stones to come, and they're all takeouts. Quite often, there's maybe just 2 shots that they actually get at playing a takeout on a stone in a scoring position. So
Yeah, it's we do see it's a big advantage for the teams that have good upweight ability on both players, because then you can really benefit from being able to set up good angles. But it's definitely not unusual that we see a steal of 1 if the first freeze is made perfect.
well, go following this one down, tracking its course.
And he's actually pushed it into shot position.
Yeah, really needed to err on the lighter side there. You obviously want to make the freeze on the inside of the nose of that stone, but if you're ever to be a little bit short and throw a guard, then you're probably still in pretty good shape there.
Yeah, I know.
So kind of lets the USA off the hook a little bit on this occasion.
If they plant one here, what are you going to do about it?
We just need to get one here.
Yeah.
Up here even.
Oh, and again, coming down the other side this time is a really nice big pocket to get a good result from this shot on.
Yeah, just again, make sure that you don't come down too deep, because that would give China an out.
Line's good.
About the same.
Line's good. Got room. Got room. Line's getting better.
Need it.
Line's great. Okay.
Need it.
Yep, coming.
So, up to help with the sweeping, Giants. I don't think they're gonna get it far enough to sit to, but it's definitely not in a bad spot. Could be tapped up with their last.
打一个外角吧。行。打一个咱的也出不去是吧？
看你底下这个，但是你得打外角。
打外角打薄一点呗。
对。
那多大力量？我怕把它崩飞喽。正常呗，我就。正常。正常就差不多，是不是？
Playing the yellow-red combination. Need to be quite careful where they hit this, because they could just get the yellows going if they overcurl. Final stone for China in the third end. Big whoa. And she'll drive it by everything. It's quite a big mistake. Now they're going to allow USA a chance of scoring a couple.
You can be back here, Joanne's.
Just playing the draw, coming to the back one. They have some support by the back red.
Give me back button as well.
What?
Give me back button as well.
Yeah.
Joyan's Michai with the last stone of the third end and needs to nibble a piece of the button to put a multiple score on the board here for the US.
All the way.
It's a really, really tough shot. These draws are just made so much more difficult by the lack of sweeping ability. And had a little bit of backing, could have come down onto their own red there, but overcurls a little bit short of pace, and it's going to be another score of 1 on the board here. And after 3 ends, it's USA 2, China 1.
I just had some that were quite a bit heavy. I didn't want to.
You stay down.
Yeah,
no, yeah, no, which is fine. So I think it's maybe a 10th difference on that side right now. But that's why I told you back 4, because if you came down to that, you were caught.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Keep it up.
Yep.
Both of these players would make good umpires.
Yeah, they're quite happy just to get on, place the stones, and I think that's good for everyone involved. Not too much waiting around for us anyway to start the next end.
No, that sure is good. Do you want to tell us a bit about the other games?
Yes, I would. Okay, Spain have stolen 2 in the third end to take a 3-1 lead, 3-1 there. Spain over France, and Netherlands score 1 in the third end to trail Japan by 2 shots to 1. Norway steal again in the third end, 3 straight steals, and a steal of 3 in the third end puts them 7-0 clear of Ireland. And of course our featured game is on sheet D. Sheet E, Germany leading New Zealand by 3 shots to 2. Bit of a torrid time so far this week, losing their first 3 games, so desperately needing to get a win on the board in this 4th round against Germany.
And China getting off to a great start this end with the free draw to sit 2. And that's in a good spot too, just top of the 8-foot. Makes the freeze a bit more difficult and still leaves a lot of room for scoring more than 1.
Steve Gebauer throwing here in the 4th end. If you have just joined us, you're watching live coverage from Dumfries in Scotland of the World Mixed Doubles Curling Championships 2014. This is the 4th draw for this group. And my name's Logan Gray, and alongside me Sarah Carlson for this matchup between the USA and China.
And USA with another big mistake, wrecking on the guard. Remember, it is China with the last stone in this end. They're now sitting 2. They have a chance of getting a 3rd one in. Could actually use the corner guard as well and get one out to the side.
Yeah, and I think the USA will be pretty glad that they can throw a take out with the next stone, because it's not been going too well so far in this 4th end.
So another yellow on its way. Just need to be careful that they're not lining them up for all of them to go. And will this even hang around?
Oh, a little bit wild there from Go. And they're having a bit of a laugh about that. I think a little bit of an ironic laugh about just how far away from making that shot they were. So the US are going to try and freeze their way out here.
A common mixed double approach. If they can lock a good one on, it would be very good. But then again, when electing the draw here, if they're not going to make this perfect, they're going to be in a big trouble.
Weight's good, weight's good. Maybe a little help at the end.
Yeah, not yet. Got room.
Yeah,
Plenty of room.
weight's good.
Still plenty of room. Oh yeah, it's coming in now.
Really curling now, and has he left it too long?
Wow, it came in hard.
Yeah, he has. It's going to be short of the rings.
As of the hog line, it still was plenty of room there.
Good dog.
Yeah.
I think they were just out a bit wider. Seen that happen a lot of times because they play down the same path again and again and again, and once they're forced out a bit wider, it just slows down more than you expect. Let's see if Go has changed the weight.
I'm not in love with the shot that he's playing here. If the USA still have that freeze down the in turn, I think then you should be taking that away from them. It's just going to set up opportunities by playing down this out turn. Lots of communication from the house. Well, doesn't really do enough for that shot, and USA still have that in-turn freeze if they wish to play it.
Or are they maybe electing a hit instead here? It's not going to do them a lot more than cut down a few yellows.
I think they're almost forced to play the freeze here. I think they maybe should have played a takeout with their last one, and this one they're going to go for the takeout, but I can't really see a great result for them.
Well, I think if they can limit China to only scoring 2, it'll still be okay for the game. Freeze, and if you don't make it, you're going to risk losing as much as 3 or 4.
You only get rid of one here, though, then the Chinese can put another one around the guard, but this is a really well played shot by Steve Gebauer. Just spins that yellow stone out of the rings and no more.
Well, coming around again on the out turn. Where is he putting this?
Well, I guess he's just trying to freeze his own Yellowstone or even just tap it up a little bit.
Don't really want to leave another double.
Yeah, needs to be a little bit careful. I think the Yellowstone that's there is in a good position, so you don't really want to move it. It's fully buried at the moment. But I guess the argument for playing this handle is that they do know it. This is third attempt of playing the same shot, so. And if you played that exact same way on the other handle, they would have been in great shape. But they've now set up a double takeout, and China just not converting at the moment. So maybe, just maybe, the Americans could make a double up the center line here. Oh, here is the last stone of the fourth end. See ya, Leo. Going for the takeout. Can they get it by the guard? Ooh. They cannot, and what a turnaround in this fourth end. It looked like China were going to put a big score on the board, but a huge miss with the final stone, and it's going to be a steal of 1. And USA got feeling a little bit lucky. And after 4 ends, it's USA 3, China 1.
I'm not sure this is going to be.
Well, half time here. USA leading China by 3 shots to 1. Players are going to take a short break before resuming the game, and so will we.
Okay. So in the first end between China and USA, Steve Gebauer had this tap back, and it's amazing. It just squeezes by the guard, sets them up with 2. They ended up scoring 1, but it was a nice situation for them. In the second end, it's USA sitting 2 before the final shot, played by Wenli. And in the third end, it was USA that had yet another draw to score 2.
You're on. You're on. Okay.
Won't really have enough weight, so they'll pick up just the 1. Lead the game 2-1. First end, this was the situation facing Steve Gebauer. Just a whole lot of yellow, but he manages to get this double.
Go, 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 go.
Great shot, and ended up stealing a point after that. So when we're back now after 4 ends, it's USA up 3-1 against China. And this is Joyens Mikai for USA with the first come around.
Yep.
Looking to freeze the yellow one just back of the button.
Wait very close.
Yep, 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 yep. Only if you need it, only if you need it.
Yeah, and looking pretty good. Oh, how good's that from Joyens, getting the second half underway in some style with a lovely freeze.
I heard you. Wing it. I was like, just separate.
Pigs, pigs, pigs.
Well, for me, Sarah, the interesting thing about this game is that I think the Americans are maybe slightly better tactically than the Chinese. We've seen some inexperienced calls from the Chinese along the way, of course, younger players as well, but perhaps the Chinese slightly better shot makers, so it's the kind of classic battle of tactics against shot making.
Yeah, well, like you said in the beginning, that Chinese players are just so good technically that they'll very rarely miss the line. It's just a matter of playing the right weight. And it's a great tap. See if Steve Gebauer can follow this down.
Still got room. Stay
All right.
close. Room.
Weight's
Plenty
good,
of
weight's
room.
good.
Still gotta come in. Plenty of room. Get down 2. Line's getting good.
Also, nice
Nice
play
job,
here
beauty.
from the Americans. 2 terrific draws to start this 4th end,
Throwing dice.
and immediately the Chinese under some pressure. Again, I think the Chinese are just making some shots a little bit more difficult than they have to. They're going to try and play the cold draw and the outturn to make this freeze, but maybe they've got more opportunity to get a good result by playing on the in turn, and they can even come down and just tap the red a little bit and change the angles. So, whereas this handle, playing on the outturn, they're really throwing to nothing. Like they have to make a perfect freeze or that's kind of it.
Yeah, I would agree.
We've said how little impact you can really have on the shots with sweeping. So you really need to call the easiest shots that you can, the ones that give you the most kind of different outcomes that are still a good result. That being said, that's a nice stone by the Chinese.
Yeah, not exactly what they were going for, but finds a really great spot. Fairly close to the guard with that one as well.
Well, the thing at the moment is that the Chinese have a lot of work to do to even score one, never mind two, so we might well see a guard from the Americans. Yeah, I agree with Steve Gebauer here that they should cover the left-hand side of the picture as they were looking at it there. Cover the out-turn side. They've got all the angles in their favour on the other side where they can chip that red stone onto the yellow stone at the top of the button.
Yeah, weight's all right.
Mine's good. On its own. On its own by itself.
All right.
Nice shot. Stop.
Well, it just throws up a guard kind of halfway up the free guard zone.
We need to work on our...
China just looking to clear this up a bit. Still 3 stones to go for them, so this is the time to do it. Can't really wait any longer.
Yeah, and the worry for them needs to be that USA can play the takeout on that red stone, maybe lying in third shot position, and if there's any guards out there, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. So really a must-make shot here for the Chinese.
This is where she missed wide the last time as well. The out-turn takeout just next to the center line. Might just be a weak spot there.
Well, I would say that out-turn draw is probably still there for
That's true.
the Chinese, so it might well be the USA want to take that option away with this one.
Oh, you know, I like that even better. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Make sure we clear that, though.
Yeah, out here.
Well, Sarah, what's the call here?
They're drawing all the way down to set 2.
I am a little concerned that then they're just going to set up a shot for the Chinese as they're going to throw this draw down onto the tee line, and that red-yellow plant just at the top of the forefoot there as we see it, it's just going to create a catcher for that yellow stone. So a little bit of caution required here. I think they might be better just throwing a guard. Maybe just pushing a little bit too hard on the Chinese, the Americans here.
Yeah, plenty of room. Plenty of room.
Let's see how it works out though.
Getting close.
And again, we're calling a shot that
Alright, lead only.
is that like we've got very little margin for error. You're much better probably throwing a guard here, and you've got much more room to make a good shot.
Ooh. It's a little less ice.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a good throw.
not a bad attempt by any means, and it's just set up opportunities for the Chinese as we suggested.
Yeah, they're not even looking at tapping on the red-yellow combination though.
The times I was hitting on that stone.
They don't even need to hit on this, they could just push it forward.
Well, I think I would be trying to follow that stone played by Steve Gebauer. You've just seen the line.
They're going to peel the guards off again.
Maybe save that plant that we talked about for the last stone, but they're going to peel the guards, as you said, Sarah.
It's just when you peel the guards, you want a couple of stones to go so that you can actually then make a move at what's in the rings. Now they just need to make sure that they score.
Yeah, and what I think they're kind of thinking, oh, we've got a last stone, we better open up the middle, but they've not actually looked at what opportunities the USA have down there. They could throw the same draw that they just played, and it's going to be almost impossible for the Chinese to score. Where's this one going to finish up?
Well, that might be for China to roll in off later if USA leave it.
Yeah, I can't really understand that call, that last one from the Chinese. Steve Gebauer immediately indicating they wanted to play that freeze into the pocket. And if you could ever get one down onto the button there, it's going to be almost impossible to remove. If he gets in a really spot, it could be impossible to remove it.
Yeah, however, if she'd ever miss this on the short side, there is a double for 3.
So an important shot here for Joyanne Smikai.
Lots of room, lots of room.
I need some help.
Set.
Really need to get this all the way down there.
That's good enough.
And it is quite short. And there you see
Yeah, definitely.
Sia pointing out the double.
传就一分儿，打反正
It's not an easy one, but it's there.
打反正这是一分儿，传也就一分儿，
打也是一分。
打有可能能打着这个呢，打这就仨，
来这点，
传一个啊，
嗯，
传一个啊，
顺势打啊。
Oh, I don't think they're even looking at it. Sarah?
Sia was showing it a couple of times, but maybe Gu is
不是，我说是打这个，
not really up for it.
打
Yeah.
这个
Oh, there we go.
打多难呐！这个一举的话，这个往前走一点不比这近吗？
是啊，打一分儿是肯定有这
啊，
个，那打一个行，打外边
So
这
you're
点
going to hit the yellow one on the nose to get the back yellow to drag a bit straighter down.
Well, I don't think they're ever going to score more than one playing this shot, but it
No.
could be the easiest one to score one.
For sure.
Very solid delivery of Guo on the beak. And they do so, and he squeezes it down onto the 1 foot. And a score of 1 for China here in the 5th end.
你再薄点儿，能不能分那个我赢？每次我跟你讲，你就不能主动。
Well, they got there in the end. They got one on the board, and after 5 ends, it's USA 3, China 2.
So a fairly tight game, and 3 more ends to go. I think the Chinese team are gonna try for a steal in this end.
波儿，你上这有点射到了啊！
Spain has now moved up to a 5-1 lead over France. Japan has a 3-1 lead over Netherlands. Norway with a huge 9-1 advantage over Ireland. And it's 4-3 to Germany against New Zealand. And that one is tight to the guard. Overcurls a fraction, but sits top 8 foot.
Line's good.
How's mine?
Line's good.
Trying to come down with a good freeze here to sit 2.
Whoa. You're all there.
Don't really want to chip off this.
I actually quite like that shot when you've got the last one. I think it's definitely no bad thing when you can move your shot stone away from the back of the button. Might just help you score later on. USA, of course, have the hammer and the even ends. That's maybe one of the few strategic things that you would keep the same as in the normal game. You kind of want to try and score in the 6th and the 8th end in the last end. Maybe not quite so important in mixed doubles as it is in normal curling, but I'm sure still a factor.
Yes, definitely. But it is a bit easier to steal probably in mixed doubles than regular curling, because you start off with the center guard and the one back button. So and then there's no hits for a while, so it's definitely to the advantage. That's quite a big mistake from China. Without hammer and close down center line, 2 American counters already.
Well, Steve Gebauer is going to try and make something around the top of the 4-foot here, I would think. Just try and block the freeze for the Chinese. Already in a position to score more than one.
Weight's real close.
Line's good.
Yeah. Weight's up, weight's up.
Plenty of room.
Weight's up, weight's up.
Looked like he just maybe just gave it a little bit with the fingers just at the end there.
Bring it back.
Yeah, might have been better off leaving that one short, because that would have stopped the freeze from China.
Third shot yet.
Well, still gets into a position to lie a 3rd shot.
Fine.
I felt it in the kick a little bit.
Well,
Chance to get out of trouble if they make this perfect.
well, this is really their 3rd attempt at it, so should expect him to get closer. Looking closer this time. Leo. Oh, just a few feet too much weight again. And both teams are just going to have to keep going for this freeze until somebody makes it.
Yeah, and well, I guess the good thing for China is that they are sitting 2nd. USA can't really make a play on that yellow right now, because that would leave a huge pocket to freeze on.
Got room.
Weight's better, weight's better.
All right. A little outside.
Starting to turn though.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, a
he's
little,
asking
not
it to turn.
Sorry. Sorry.
All right, yep.
Just kind of hangs up there, and that could well make the next one a little bit easier for Leo.
Line is
3rd attempt at making this in-turn freeze.
I wonder if I should have asked you to try to finish it and maybe see if it would come in. They don't seem to be.
Getting closer with each attempt.
Well, I mean, like, even if it was, yeah, it's actually fine where it is.
Well, again, maybe looking a little bit pacey. Does have that wide stone to come in off. And just the faintest of flicks, and a great shot here by Cielio.
Yeah, that was the end saver right there. Both teams had been looking for that position for quite a while.
Yeah, and good skipping from Go as well, just letting that one curl for the faintest of edges on that wide red. And all of a sudden, USA punished for a couple of slack draws.
Yeah, Freeze is giving them one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because to get that on 2 shots, you would have to give some good weight at that, get some separation in. What do you prefer? What do you prefer?
I just like the freeze, something short there.
And just, okay.
It's not gonna. We're not gonna get that out in 2 shots. Is the problem.
Okay.
Well,
All of a sudden,
the only thing we could do is probably run this back.
America looking to
catch
maybe
the
give up one.
Yellow. That yellow.
Yeah, well, the other option is to make some sort of a play on the guard to open up a double takeout on the 2 yellows in the center line. Might not be a bad option.
No, but there is a lot of yellow that's going to be run down.
Yeah, you have.
Joyce
Not
does not seem too happy.
Yeah, I'm not loving that.
So freezing and giving up one. It's quite a turnaround.
Yes, we are freezing and they are giving up one.
Yeah, I am freezing.
Not the warmest here in the ice bowl here in Dumfries.
Well, it's called the ice bowl, so we probably should have known.
Well, again, Steve Gebauer is going to try and play this in-turn freeze and looking a little bit hot again.
Nothing.
Maybe coming off his own.
Well, makes the same cheeky little shot that the Chinese played. And maybe actually got a better result than what they called.
That still isn't.
That's on a nice angle towards the yellow.
Well, actually, for the Chinese, they could come down and bump that red stone just inside the nose and make life very, very difficult for the United States. It's really a tailor-made catcher, that red stone at the back of the button for the yellow if they were to move the one at the front of the button. So China with a great chance here. Can they do what they haven't really managed to do so far in this game and maximise it?
Well, we're going to see what the coach has to say because they have called a timeout.
Steve having a timeout of his own at the back there, munching on some food products.
Food products.
Here's Wang Feng Chung. The Chinese coach making his way down to impart his advice on the Chinese team.
What would be your advice, Logan?
Well, maybe we can listen in and
then you can translate.
I can tell you exactly what he said.
Okay.
I've just about to spend more time in China this season than I have in Scotland.
Okay, so you'll be fine then.
踏板会正常。球能不能磕这个？磕的扶手往后甩。能。那磕一下。磕最好头留着。就是要头留下，但是你要是劲儿小的话，我怕那红球出不去。啊？挤不出去，怕红球。那你就用踏板左右。
不是，他现在是那俩球贴得很近，你磕，你要是劲儿不大点的话，没那个远。 没那个远，
没那个远。
没那个咱后边那个黄的远。
要么你就长线可以，或者是正常。
你
打完这个
不是
引的甩，你
现在这局你
旁边红那个打。
现在这局你说我们有必要夺吗？这个球一旦打到外边，就是他那红的肯定留那儿了，就是锅这球，他除非打定，就是他上
Well, umpires in there to drag the coach out.
打呀。
They've had their full minute of discussion, the coach interaction, and Sarah, to go back to your previous question, I would think what Mr. Feng Chong wanted his team to do is to play some sort of a tap on that red stone just played by Steve Gebauer, move the yellow stone back onto the red at the back of the button, and leave their stone in the nose. That would make things really difficult for the Americans to score.
Well, looks they like could be sitting a couple because it looks like they're going to play with quite some weight.
I don't think they need to play it with heaps of weight. They could just play a nice hack weight or something. You see, they need to get pretty close to the guard and that stone at the top of the rings if they want to make a good shot here. I think the worry by playing a lot of weight is that you hit it wide and then you actually set up a chance to score two by removing all the backing. So
yeah, this is hanging pretty wide. And have they actually left the red one shot now?
I think they have, Sarah. And maybe there's a chance for the USA to wiggle one into the top of the button there to score two.
Yeah, I mean, just...
Well, I think they had the makings of the right idea there, Sarah. They knew the angles right. They just played it again. Tried to play too difficult a shot.
I could split them so that we end up having 2 second shots.
It was really an all or nothing shot. That one. They could have played it at less weight and taken far less risk and got the same reward.
All right.
Does it?
If you tap this here.
Yeah. Would my shooter outcount this yellow?
Well, if you were to get in here, it's really tight that way. Yeah. I mean, your best is to come in here and...
Yeah, I know. I prefer that side. So back 4. 4, it's T-line. T-line back 4.
You want to ask them? On this?
I just need enough weight so that it comes in behind that 3.
Where's the broom? Where do you want the broom? Play a little in?
What?
I mean, where's your broom then? You want back 4? Yeah?
I think that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's far more room to make this draw on the other side. Like, there's much more space past that yellow stone at the top of the 8 foot. They've also played that draw a million times in this end. I can't really understand why we're going to the outturn here. There's maybe a fraction more risk that you might move the red that's lying in shot position and you might lose one, but even still, if you do that, there's so many stones to roll into that you're still going to score. So I don't really understand what the thinking is here. If they were at all heavy and wide here, they might even chip China in to score 1. So I think they think they're being safe here, but I'm not entirely convinced. Sorry if that sounded like a little bit of a rant.
I don't know what rant means, so that means you're fine.
I'll introduce you to it later.
Okay. You can tell me when it happens to me. Oh, well, no danger really, but doesn't really come close to scoring 2 either, but it's 1 on board for USA and they will have a 2-point lead after 6 ends. I guess it's pretty good still because they were looking to just give up 1 for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. They were really gifted a score there in that end. Just some bad shot execution by the Chinese.
Yeah, we did. I'm a little too close to my rocks here. Double touching them, burning them.
It's fine. We played that one real tight, and we really want to get the inside.
Yeah,
it's harder to hit
How
that.
did the weight look?
Weight was fine. Weight was fine. I think we're good.
Okay.
Nail this one, top 4.
Yes.
Go.
Yep.
So starting to look quite good for USA here. 2 points up, 2 ends to go.
And Joanne's
Line's good, line's good.
only playing 46% so far in this game.
And she's had a couple of wrecks on the guard and a couple of last shots gone wrong, but they are up in the game.
You got lots of room for that.
And Joanne's has been playing the first and the last stone of every end. I think quite often you see the female player of the of the two throwing the first and the last stone, and then you've got the guy throwing the middle ones that can maybe throw the stone a little bit harder and more accurately. Traditionally, anyway.
This is going to be close to the guard, doing what they can with the sweeping. Steve was really ready to sweep the guard, but it didn't move. And this is pretty much the same situation as the last end, but reversed. Now China with last stone advantage and 2 stones on the button. So we might just see them freeze and freeze and freeze again.
Well, it's China with the upper hand at the moment. And they certainly had the upper hand in the last end, they just couldn't put the finishing touches on it. Steve Gebauer needing a good freeze here.
65% for him. Acceptable numbers for mixed doubles.
Mine's getting better.
Weight's coming close, weight's coming close.
Starting to break now.
Mine's good.
Looking really good, this one.
Yeah. Yep.
But we'll chip off just a bit. Wanted to sit just on the nose.
Yeah, that's a really nice pocket for the Chinese to come and freeze in. Nice nest for them to lay a nice big Chinese egg in.
He's so clever.
Okay.
So Leo Xixia playing 47%, so pretty even matchup in the female positions.
Yeah, but they are playing different positions.
Oh, this one's looking pretty handy.
Yeah, that will be more than 47% for sure.
Oh, now the United States gonna be scratching their head a little bit on this one.
Is there anything we can do with that?
What?
Can we do anything this side?
You want to tap this?
You like running this down?
Well, I don't like the freeze, which is the initial call. There's not enough stones for them to get all those yellows moving off the button. They either need to run the red guard back into the yellows, which I think is probably their best call, or as an alternative, I think they need to smash the red stone at the top of the 8-foot into the yellows. They really need to get some of those yellows moving.
I don't think they're smashing though, because that would indicate some more weight, right? This seems like a quieter shot.
For one to smash, they would have to throw more weight, yes.
Thank you for that explanation.
Well,
This just throwing this as a quieter weight just means that they need to be a lot more accurate as well. It's hard to get the perfect line, and they won't.
Well, probably not that badly an executed shot, to be honest, by the Americans, but I think we're just playing almost like a tap freeze there, but they're running out of stones to move all of those yellows. They really had to get some of these stones moving off the button with that shot, in our opinion. Yes?
Yes, I will agree. But See, yeah, she does not need to smash this. She can play just a board ring, it's a board weight as well, and she could get a little roll in here. They're going to start looking very good to score a bundle.
I don't think they actually have to play a takeout at all here. I think this, again, it's just unnecessary risk. They could play a draw and get another one in there, and that would really turn up the heat on the Americans. This hit and roll is a much more difficult shot than the straight draw.
Well, I guess they don't want to leave USA the same shot again, but they could just push it back 8 foot as well.
Well, makes the takeout and rolls to the other side of the 8 foot.
We do have the in off. Which looks better?
What?
Which looks better?
The in off is, I mean, it's a little thick. It's going to just kind of, it could just stay out here. I kind of like this better.
So just as you said, Logan, coming down to freeze here, it's not going to do them a lot of good. Because it's very likely that China are still going to sit 3. They could maybe squeeze one in there to count some, but it needs to be dead perfect.
Well, actually, they could probably make a double on those 2 yellow stones on the tee line and the back side of the tee line, and they leave themselves lying short. They make the scoring area a little bit bigger, and they've got a red stone frozen on the one at the top of the 4 foot as well. So
yeah, you could also just look at the scoring board. Like, they're up 2 points. Losing 2 is fine. Losing 3, they're still having a really good chance. If they ever lose 4
or 5,
yes, then there's not much they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of teams fall into the trap of almost playing the game like skins, like every single end. Oh well, we can't really defend, so because we need to, we only get a few stones to play takeouts, but they still need to play the scoreboard. Like, they're just playing every end like skins at the moment. Okay, we'll just try and freeze our way out, and we'll leave all the opposition stones around. So now China are lying 3, maybe 4. And they're going to try and throw another draw in here. Well, USA with just 1 stone remaining. China last stone. Throwing another yellow in here to potentially lie 5. Needs to get past this top one. Well, that's a beauty.
It really is. It's hard to see USA doing anything that's going to keep China from a big score in this end.
Yeah, it's definitely a hands and hip moment.
Well, they could.
So you have to get to here.
Well, if they hit that on the nose and sit there, they would leave 2 yellows, but they would outcount 2 and just leave a really tricky shot for 3. I think that might be the best option.
Just bump it back.
Yeah, just bump that back enough.
I like that.
You'd rather do this? Okay. Control? Or board?
Board.
Board.
Well, it does look like they are going to play that shot that you just nominated, Sarah. Joyan's Michai. Just with a board weight takeout. See, stone's spinning quite fast, so might not curl as much as they hope.
Cannot be wide here, and I think she's really wide.
Yeah, maybe a little bit heavy too. Does outcount the wide yellow.
Yeah,
however, it looks like it's going to be a draw for 5 here in the 7th end. Yeah, and actually, there could well be a tap for 6. That would be a game killer. Those 2 yellow stones, a direct plant onto that shot stone at the back of the 4-foot. Final stone of the 7th end, and Guo trying to make a tap on his 2 yellow stones on the tee line. Squeaks it past the guard. Can he get it past the top red?
Oh no, they will wreck. A bit unlucky for China there, but still a score of 4.
Big mistake there by Guo. Still got to be pretty happy with the outcome of the end, but a poor conclusion from Guo. Big mistake. Still 4 on the board though for China, and what a turnaround. These things happen in mixed doubles curling, and after 7 ends, it's China 6, USA 4.
Yeah, it is. And to tell you about the other sheets, France took 3 to close the gap on Spain. It's still Spain leading that game 6-4. Japan has a 3-point lead over Netherlands, 5-2. Norway has now won the game against Ireland. They won it 9-2. And it's a tied game between New Zealand and Germany at 6 each. So this time I'm going to agree with the tick in the guard. Normally it's quite a bad mistake, but I guess when you're 2 points up.
Line's fine. I think the weight's
Or well, no,
By
I just changed my mind. Sorry, I was thinking that China had the last zone. Of course they don't. So it's quite nice for USA to have 2 corner guards.
Yeah, it does, but I think they were right to keep playing into the middle. I think China, when they can't play a takeout, they still have no option but to try and play a freeze. So they actually come down and tap that redstone back, which I think is a pretty good result for the Americans. I'm not sure that was entirely what they were calling, but they've removed the stone off the back of the button. They're lying 2. China can't play a takeout, so maybe with this next one they'll have a chance to lie 3. They've got no centre guard, and I think USA are in good shape here in the 8th end.
Important to get the line right here. They would like to get a freeze that would then allow them to make a double. So get a little tap, so there is some separation.
Or just back line. I think that's close.
Okay.
Well, looks like Steve Gabar just playing a control weight takeout. And although a good shot played by the Chinese, the problem is that they're very exposed. They don't have anything on the center line to hide behind. And that's actually a terrific result, I would say, for...
Yeah, because that hung around.
Yeah, it looked like you looked like you were aware of it and were beginning to pivot a little, but you didn't do much to it.
Lying 3. Remember, that would be enough to win the game. Score of 2 and they get the extra end.
Well, China are needing to find a double takeout here, or even just a hit and roll behind the guard would be sufficient. Has he got the
Enough
double?
to get no. Oh, it's quite close, but
kind of stuck in between the two shots almost.
Yeah. USA still with a chance to sit 3. And also a chance to have them all spread out, which of course will be really nice.
Yeah.
Make it difficult for China to make a double.
Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, going for the roll behind the corner, and another good shot by the Americans, really turning up the heat on China here. Well, the only problem with their shot there is that it's rolled to the tee line and maybe even past, and maybe it forces China to throw a freeze. And that's probably not what the Americans want. They want to keep the Chinese playing takeouts at the moment, I would say.
A good freeze could just take away all of the 3 reds, and then, well, it is behind the corner guard, so they will still be able to try and set up for 2.
Well, looks like they're going for the takeout here. Oh, has he got the 2? Oh, terrific shot.
He made the double, but it's still USA with shot stone, and it is behind the corner guard. So they're going to draw behind the other one. Still a chance for them to win the game. That's a beauty.
Yeah, Go just treating himself to a little swig of water after that terrific takeout.
He's earned it well.
Weight's good.
All right, got room.
Real close, real close.
Plenty of room.
All right. Wow.
keeping this back of the tee line now, not to leave a double, because it's not buried. So if Zia can remove this, they'll have an extra end for sure. Well, that means they can't lose the game in this end, and they're going to force USA to play their last. She can also get a tiny roll behind the guard. She's going to make it difficult for Joyance Mishai. Looks like she's playing quite a lot of weight here. Almost thought that she would bring it down a bit to get the roll. Rolling the other way instead, but just end up on the center line, so it's a nose hit for the extra end.
Oh, okay, you want. All right.
She makes this, they get an extra. And will this hang around?
Good try.
I'm not sure. Steve Gebauer shows 2. That was just enough to get the extra end. And we're gonna get one more end of curling. It's 6 each after the 8th end. And of course the games need to be decided, so we're gonna see the 9th. And it will be China with the last one advantage.
Nail this one. Nail this one. You got it. 65-70.
Spain beat France. Germany beat New Zealand.
65-70.
Norway beat Ireland. And Japan has a 3-point lead over Netherlands, playing the last end. And it looks like they are going to come away with a win there as well.
She noticed it when she was. She noticed it when she was getting the hack. I looked up at mine. It was 2 minutes left. But, all right.
Who do you think is going to come out on top, Logan?
Well, it's been back and forth all match, hasn't it? It can really go either way, that's for sure. But China obviously have the advantage with the last stone here in the extra end. But you just never know in mixed doubles curling.
No, and this first come around is so important now. If you can lock this on, it's just going to be a great start.
Yep, all the way, all the way. Line looks good, line looks good. Line looks good. Whoa, 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 you're there, you're there.
And it is a really good start.
Come down here and they first got her mouth wide open.
China's going to come follow with the freeze. If they get good line, then it's not a bad idea to actually tap them a bit apart to create some separation. Make sure that it's not locked on the back yellow. And we'll leave the red one on the pin, but it's not a bad stone, because it's not frozen anymore. Steve Gebauer gonna come down with another one. Leaving this short is for sure quite a good option.
Yeah, well, if Steve could ever get one at the top of the forefoot here, that would really take control of the end for the USA.
Want to bring it back?
No, no, it's not there.
Oh, and
Fade out.
that could be a crucial mistake.
Was I out?
Because
Yeah. I didn't think I was. Felt
when Lee go,
all right.
can make the double here. Clear out the forefoot.
Yeah, they can't. Oh, sorry, they can play a takeout now with this one, can they? The
Yep.
sixth stone of the end.
The fourth? Well, the sixth with the two pre-placed ones. You're right, Logan.
Well, this would be great, wouldn't it, for the Chinese if they could spell both of these reds. Oh, and a super shot.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Gets them all going, but USA still have that lifeline out front, that centre guard that could set up the steal.
Joanne, the other side.
Yeah, it's already a little less.
Other turn.
Oh!
Steve Gebauer more comfortable with the outturn.
A little tight. Yeah.
So they're needing to go for
Hard.
line here.
Hard.
Oh,
Well, immediately Joyanne's called as maybe just a little bit tight for line.
and no hesitation at all from the Chinese team. They're going to remove the centre guard, which is a really good choice because there's not even a red one in the rings. So with no guard, the centre area is going to be open for them with their last.
Well, looking tight away here, and has he nosed it? He has not. He just rolls the shooter far enough to open up the centre line.
Tight. Gee, line's okay. Whoa, no line.
Weight's good, weight's good.
No line. Looking pretty good. Line's good.
Well, this is a nice shot played by Steve Gebauer, but the scoring area, just by tapping that back a little bit, the scoring area gets a little bit bigger for the Chinese with their final stone.
They could have elected another centre guard and then just tried to come around and sit on the forefoot behind the red with their last. Still a good attempt at the freeze though. And I believe this one was maybe a bit tight as well. And well, maybe it's okay. Just misses the back one.
I think we'd have liked to roll the shooter a little further away from the button though, so maybe just a glimmer of hope for the Americans here.
Then if they get a good angle, could maybe be a bit difficult for China to remove it because of that red one. And the timeout is called. So Maymar Gemmel gonna make her way down to the ice. They played against their coach in the USA mixed doubles, and then ended up bringing her to Scotland.
They would likely draw.
Yeah. So
that's really going over and above just buying them a drink as you would traditionally.
Yes.
That was our initial reaction, but then we thought if we do the hit and roll, we do get there's a little bit of cover. We're sitting 1-2, it forces them to draw.
If you freeze to it and you're sitting like this, you're going to make it very difficult for them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your shot. And I think probably about the middle of the 8 foot.
Okay.
That much?
What do you think? Do you think?
I wouldn't go any further.
No, don't go any further than that. It's up to you guys. You know the ice. But do the freeze on it.
All right.
That's your shot. Go do it.
All right.
65, 70?
You got it.
So, a freeze.
Yeah, I don't think they have much option. They maybe could play a double to lie to, but yeah, I think there's only really one option.
Wise coaching.
Well, this will be the USA's final stone of this fourth round.
Oh, and she is calling this heavy. Is it just going to slip all the way through? It is. That's a good hack weight and handshakes. China will move on to their third win. USA will drop down to 1 and 3, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that really could have gone either way throughout the match, but China just stealing it at the last, getting it down an extra end somehow, and not having to play their last stone, but sealing a win by 8 shots to 6.
The X stays. No, yeah, the X stays. Oh.
Push them down.
Yeah, X stays, okay.
Yeah, just need to figure out where all the stones go now, and of course we're going to give you some highlights from this game. And if you stick around as well, tonight at 9 o'clock local time in Dumfries, it's going to be a very exciting matchup between Scotland and Canada here in the World Mixed Double Curling Championships in 2014. Here is the final line score for the game between USA and China. It was China to come out on top with an 8-6 win. We also had Spain beating France, Germany beating New Zealand, Norway beating Ireland, and Japan beat the Netherlands. So for now, stay tuned for highlights. So here are the highlights from the game between USA and China. In the first end, Steve Gebauer had this very quiet weight takeout. It comes really close to the guard and makes a great one to set the USA up. They ended up scoring 1 point in the first end. In the second end, Wen Li Gu had this double attack, and he makes a good one, manages to move the second red off the button, and China ties the game up at 1 each. In the third end, it was USA that had a chance to draw for 2.
You're on.
It's a bit short of weight, and it'll be just the 1 point for USA. They will lead the game 2-1 after 3 ends. In the 4th end, China had 3 yellows lying around when Steve Gebauer, he made this very nice double.
Go.
And by the end, it allowed USA a steal of 1, getting a 3-1 lead. It was Wen Li Gu once more that had a tricky shot for 1. He'll squeeze that yellow down and score their point, closing the gap to USA. Both teams had been attempting the freeze to the button for a while, and it was Xia Liu who came out with this really great stone, and she will lock it on the button. It was USA to score 1 after the 6th end though, so they still had it. When China just lined up a lot of stones in the forefoot, and this is yet another great freeze by Xia Liu. And with that nice shot, they ended up scoring 4 to really turn the game around. The 2-point lead for the final end. It was USA sitting 3 for a while, but Go made this great double to only allow them a score of 2. It was a tied game after 8 ends, and the game went to an extra where USA set themselves up nicely, made yet another really great double, which opened up everything and in the end allowed China to score. They win the game after 9 ends, and the final score was 8 shots to 6.
That stays. What? Oh, bring that back.
So that's it for us just now, but join us again at 9 o'clock local time in Dumfries, when we will be giving you the very exciting matchup between Scotland and Canada.